The men who built the largest empires in history had one thing in common that nobody talks about. They did not need anyone in the room to believe in them before they began. Not Tesla, not Aurelius, not Buffett. Every man who built something permanent built it first inside himself, alone, before anyone else could see it. This is not a video about solitude. This is a video about what solitude taught the most dangerous men in history about power. You are competing right now against people with more resources, more connections, and more social validation than you have. What they do not have, and what the men we study today understood, is that none of those things are what actually determines who wins. Today on Ironframe, we go inside the mind of the man who builds alone. Nikola Tesla worked alone for most of his productive life. Not because he could not find collaborators. He had Edison's entire organization available to him at the start of his career. He chose solitude, deliberately, systematically, because he understood something about the nature of original thought that most men never confront. Original thought requires a specific condition that most environments actively destroy: the absence of other people's frameworks operating on your mind in real time. Every conversation with a collaborator is an opportunity for their assumptions to colonize your thinking. Tesla called this the contamination of the original signal. He protected that signal with the same intensity that other men protected their reputations. In 1892, Nikola Tesla demonstrated the Tesla coil, a device that no one had asked for, no one had funded, and no one believed was possible. He built it alone, tested it alone, understood it alone, long before any audience existed to validate it. The validation came later. The work came first. That sequence, work before validation, is the precise inversion of how most men operate. Most men wait for the room to believe in their idea before they commit to it fully. Tesla committed first, completely, alone, and the room never had a choice but to follow. Principle 1. The man who builds alone controls the timeline. Every collaborative project runs on a consensus timeline. The pace of the slowest member, the comfort zone of the most cautious voice, the momentum of whoever needs the most convincing. The man who builds alone answers to one timeline only, his own. Tesla did not wait for Edison's organization to believe his AC current was superior. He built his proof on his own timeline, and by the time the world caught up, the timeline had already decided the outcome. Principle 2. Solitude eliminates the most dangerous variable in any high-stakes decision: other people's fear. When you make decisions in groups, you are never making a decision based purely on the merits of the decision. You are making a decision shaped by the fears and social calculations of everyone in the room. The man who builds alone makes decisions in the purest possible environment, one where the only fear that can influence the outcome is his own. And his own fear, once confronted in solitude, becomes manageable in ways that collective fear never does. Principle 3. The man who needs no validation cannot be controlled by the withdrawal of it. Social validation is the primary mechanism through which most men are controlled, not through force, not through law, but through the implicit threat of its removal. Your employer, your peers, your social circle, they all hold validation as both reward and weapon. The moment you genuinely stop requiring their approval, you become ungovernable by the primary tool most systems use to govern men. Tesla understood this. Buffett understood this. Aurelius understood this. They were not antisocial. They were validation independent. That distinction is the difference between a man who can be redirected and a man who cannot. Principle 4. Solitude is not where you retreat from the world. It is where you build the version of yourself that the world has no choice but to engage with on your terms. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire of 50 million people and spent every morning alone, writing to himself, not to share, not to publish, not for any audience at all. He was building the internal architecture that the empire would eventually run on. The solitude was not absence from the world. It was the construction site of the man who would govern it. Every morning in isolation, every day in command. The sequence was not accidental. He understood that what he built alone in the morning determined what the empire experienced in the afternoon. The world will keep offering you collaboration as a substitute for clarity. It will frame the room's approval as proof that your idea is worth pursuing. It will make you feel that the man who works alone is the man who failed to attract partners, when the truth is precisely the opposite. The man who works alone chose that state, deliberately, because he understood that the work that matters most in any man's life, the work of building himself, can only be done in one place, alone, in the silence that most men spend their entire lives avoiding. The next video on Ironframe goes deeper. We study the specific cognitive patterns that separate the man who acts without permission from the man who spends his life waiting for it. Subscribe if you want to think at that level. I will see you then.